There are a ton of warning signs that can warn you hours or even days before a flare-up hits you. Pay attention to this list so you can do damage control and shorten your flare-up period. Hey survivors, Rachel Wynn here, and today I'm going to be going through the early flare-up warning signs I've noticed in hopes that it'll help you see a flare-up coming and be able to make it not last as long or be as bad. Alright, so my first flare-up warning sign is one that actually started happening to me before any of the others, and that was getting really cold and not being able to warm up. Now with my flare-ups, I've noticed that I get really cold, and over the years I have learned to be obsessed with saunas and hot baths and all that stuff because I tend to go to the cold side. For some reason, my body just decides to hoard the energy and not use that energy to warm itself up. Because of this, my husband calls me the lobster mermaid because I literally will turn on a bath as hot as it goes and it'll turn me red, but I'll still be freezing. So I am the lobster mermaid. The second thing I noticed very early on in having issues was I would suddenly lose strength in my arms. Like I would feel like I was gonna drop things. And that was a very big sign that I had been overdoing it, and a very early sign. Yeah, sometimes your muscles just don't work right. You feel like things aren't functioning quite correctly and you're not sure why. That is usually a very strong sign. Stop what you're doing, lay down, rest. The third thing I noticed that is a red flag, a flare-up is coming or starting, is this weird internal humming or buzzing. I literally described it to my doctor as it felt like I had a hive of bees inside me. Some people might say it feels like tingling. Very odd sensation, but it is a sign that a bad flare-up is coming and you need to rest immediately. A very common red flag that a flare-up is coming, probably one of the first ones usually, is having brain fog and confusion. Like for instance, I would be in the grocery store back when I could go to the grocery store, and I would just zone out and be like a mindless zombie, and I would wander and stare at things, and I'm like, even if I had everything, in one way I knew I was done and I needed to leave, and the other way I would think I was forgetting something, or I would stare at things. And now I just do brainless wandering around the house where I'll go room to room going, what am I forgetting? And I have had a lot of issues with this, with wasting my energy when I should have been laying down because of brainless wandering. My husband has now been like, you're wandering again, to tell me to stop because it will make you so much worse if you don't stop. Go rest. I think you're gonna notice a theme here of going and resting. Just maybe, possibly. Another thing you'll notice that happens right before a flare is you tend to get really moody and cranky. I kind of consider it the same thing as when you wake up cranky. It's like you're still really tired and hazy and you don't have that reasoning ability to be nice and censor everything quite appropriately. So yeah, definitely I'm sure you've all felt this, but a sign of flare-ups coming is your muscles feel really stiff and kind of like you're getting the flu, that weird sicky, icky pain feeling in your muscles themselves. We've all been through it. It is a hallmark sign of having chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia and everything, but it's also a very large warning flag that a flare-up's coming. Of course, there's also the weather. I'm sure you've noticed when the weather changes, especially when it turns from summer to winter. Ooh, the winter hurts me so bad. I am very cold sensitive. Cold to me is ridiculously painful. And I mean painful. And so when the seasons switch, oh my goodness, it causes a flare even if I've done everything right. Some of you might notice it when it's about to rain. You can feel a change in the barometric pressure. That can also cause flare-ups. If you think this might help someone in your support group, please do share this video, by the way. A thing that actually surprised me that causes flare-ups is PMS. Your period, your oncoming period, the hormone changes in your body actually can cause flares. And the more painful your periods are, the worse these flares can get. So definitely taking some preventative measures when you know your period's gonna be coming on, I highly recommend it. And because it's based on hormone changes, I think this also happens around menopause as well. Now, something I'm curious if you guys have as a flare-up warning sign. I don't know if it's particular to me, but let me know if you got this too. A sign for me that I'm gonna have a very severe flare-up is my skin turns corpse gray, especially on my hands. No, it is not that one where your finger can go pale. I forget what that's called. Reynolds, it's not Reynolds, but my entire hands and body go corpse gray. And it's not anemia, it's not Raynaud's. The doctors have no clue why this happens, but when I'm about to get a severe flare up, I just look like a corpse. So if anyone else goes through that, let me know. Another weird sign that I go through that I'm not sure is normal. I know lymph node swelling is very common. Mine isn't so much around the neck, it's around the base of the skull, but especially the soles of my feet. It feels like pebbles are under my skin, and I think it's the lymph nodes. They're so sore, they're so painful, and that's one of my most consistent signs a flare-up is coming. And even if my husband rubs my feet, he tells me it feels like there are little pebbles in there. It's also kind of a good sign that I'm getting over a flare-up is when it starts going away. But yeah, that's another one I'm not sure if anyone else has, so let me know. Do you have any red flag signals I forgot to mention here? Put it in the comments. And for more helpful videos for chronic illness issues, try one of these. Keep surviving!